What's up YouTube, this is Slaan here again from Northern Lan, and this is Project Slaanhatten, the version 0.3.5 official release. And what we can see here is Loaf Dog's awesome stadium and an even bigger car park, and this is the first start I should say really of the southern side of the hub, south of the river. So this whole section is all new. We'll ignore this little bit in the corner. There's a certain prefabber out there who's planning a certain little thing to go there, so we'll talk about that at a later date. The main features of this version release is obviously the highway, which is where it's got its name from, and as you can see it's been extended across the river and then south to the south side of the hub. So there's not really too much going on this side of the water, but it's a start. The foundations have been set, the roads have been cut in roughly, the plans are in motion, so things will happen. I'll not go into detail with a tour of the stadium, instead I'll put a link up to Loaf Dog's own video. It's about 20 minutes long and he takes you through every single room. It's well worth watching and probably one of the most detailed prefabs that we'll see for a little while at least. But as you can see, the highway comes all the way down, and this area is just screaming out to be filled with buildings and all sorts of stuff. I'm not going to roll with a concept map for this version because there's a lot of... Now that the hub is approaching the initial size that I had set out, I'm going to start focusing more on filling the areas in, the shoreline and little gaps here and there. I don't want to set anything in stone. I've spoken to a couple of other prefabbers who are planning things, so I'm just going to see what direction it takes on its own this time and focus more on just little touch-ups and filling little areas in. But as you can see already, the access ramps are in there. We have 3 different locations where we can enter the highway. They are just basic, but each one is being chopped into its own little prefab, so there's now I believe about 5 sections of highway in various sizes and about 6 different prefabs, all included in the minifabs folder in the project folder itself. So if you want to extend the highway a little bit or do something with it, you are more than welcome to. All the pieces that I've made to do it myself are all in there, so you know, I like sharing the little bits and bobs like that. I've had a few sort of mini fabs off other people, things that you wouldn't typically use on their own, but things like bus stops or vehicles, the cool little things that are just handy to have in a little library. There's about 40 prefabs in the minifabs folder now, so it's well worth checking out if you're interested in building and messing around. But we're just approaching downtown now, where we'll come across the next access ramps to the highway, which are central this time. I wasn't quite sure where to roll with all these ramps, and then obviously with these areas already being built up with buildings, and there's not a lot going on underneath a lot of the sections of the highway, so it's not a bad little way I think to use the space up. We've got a little bit of a tunnel going on here with the access ramps on either side, and then we've started to get the piles and piles of traffic in. We'll see on the left a new addition to downtown, a little bit of a car crash and stuff going on there, a nice little shopping area to finish this corner off, and then the final access ramps themselves are down here. So now that you have been staying at the highway for a month, you actually have the means to get up on there and tear around on your mini bike. I have I think I'm on 18 subscribers now on the YouTubes, which has happened a lot faster than what I thought. I had initially planned to do some kind of 10 subscriber special, but that's now being pushed to the 17 or 18 subscriber special, which I'll be working on now that this is out of the way. I'm just going to have a quick graveyard with matching gravestones beneath the ground. I've checked them for loot and stuff. I don't think the coffins themselves are too bad, and you've got to dig them all up. But there's a lot, because I had to rebuild the hub due to the desync bug that was occurring. I had a lot of a chance to go over and reset the roads in and have a look at each section individually through the editor, so there's a lot of minor edits. Things like the trash decal being spawned over and over again. I wonder where I copied that block from when I filled the asphalt in. Was it there, do you think? That'll have to be removed. But like I say, I'm trying just to fill these little gaps in now. So we've got seating areas, a car park for the hospital. There's mainly little touch-ups have went on in the uptown area. The bridge and the south side were the main additions to this version, but we'll have a quick look at what was done over in downtown. And hopefully as I've seen a lot of things that you don't recognise, but this area is starting to look really nice now. I'm loving being able to get the trees and the greenery brought back into the city. No more running for half an hour to get out the centre of a mega city to go and find some wood. But you can see I'm slowly but surely getting rid of all of those horrible plain brick walls. Like I was saying earlier, the coastline and stuff like that I want to start working on now, and tidying up the space that I've laid out a bit more as opposed to extending outwards. And I think that is pretty much most of the new things there. I know there's not a huge amount this version, even though I've been working on it for 3 weeks. A lot of that, like I say, has been spent bug fixing and working on the workaround for the dedicated server, which is up there. One thing I will point you at, because I did mention in the last concept map that I did have a school planned for this area, but what I decided to do at the last minute was just to skip this off, because as you can see I've set the roads down, but I figured this would be a good opportunity to show people how to add an extra area to the hub itself and then slot it into the mixer and get it spawning in with the rest of it. And I'll break that down step by step over a few tutorials, because I've already covered how to edit a part of the city already, which is quite a simple process. Adding your own area or section to the city itself isn't that actually bad. Once you've got the prefab grid wrapped around your mind, and you know you're familiar with how it's working and you understand how it's working, making the additions to the hub itself is relatively simple. It's just a case of how much do you like to build and how big do you want to build, really. So like I say, we've got the main bridge and all that there now. I'm sure you will have fun doing wheelies across that on the mini bikes. I think as I start touching the hub up, this bridge is going to change a lot. The main thing was to get the north and south sides connected. I know Loaf Dog keeps hinting at some kind of Tyne Bridge-esque style building, but we'll see what happens with that. So I can't wait to get him to finish his skyscrapers. The side of the city, the hub itself, is going to look awesome when we start building the skyline itself. Nice little bit of floaty signage. I mean, like I say, this side is very rough and ready, but we'll see things start popping up here very quickly now that the foundations have been set in. So once again, this is Slaan from Northern Lan, and I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. I hope you're going to download the project itself and give it a whirl. If you're going to get stuck on setting up for a dedicated server, I have a tutorial there now on how to make it work. Thanks to Cyborg, I should just add to that. I don't think there's anything I really need to show you now. The main changes to the project folder itself, I'll grab that up and we'll remove that. And we'll bring it back on. God damn it. And where's the folder gone? There it is, on the desktop. So I'll get rid of that again. Like I say, the main change to the folder, we now have instructions, which are just basically how to set it up, the steps you would take to get it working on the dedicated server here. But like I say, there's a video explaining all that. The archive folder has everything stashed in it, all the old versions, all of the old maps, minifabs, the not so minifabs. The density reset prefabs was just something that I was using myself. I'll probably remove them. The new roadmap, if I pull that on, this basically, for the people who want to look at the mixer and see what's going on, each section of road is broken up in the mixer itself, so you can have a look at exactly what areas of the mixer are spawning what sections of road. This is how I keep an eye of it all in my head. I figure the more that you can see and the more that you can sort of look at, the more chance that there is of people sort of getting on board and being involved a bit. The new prefab grid map, obviously this is an older version of the hub, but all the coordinates and everything are accurate. And the old concept map, like I say, this will probably be added to the archive. I don't think I'm going to roll with a concept map, because things like the Alcatraz prison changed and switched out last minute because the prison prefab itself was a little bit too big. There's a slightly smaller one there which should fit just nicely, but required a different sort of plan and layout, so I've left that for now, but that is on the to-do list. But like I say, all that's in the folder there for you to have a read of. And last but not least, when you're downloading, please take a few minutes to go through the credits. These are all the people who make the cool stuff that makes the project possible, and they deserve 30 seconds of your time to know exactly where everything's come from. So with that, we'll put that back on, and I will call it an end to the video there. So like I said, I'm Slaan from Northern Lan, and you've just been watching the Project Slaanhatten 0.3.5, the highway official release video. You can download that via the main forums, and please like, comment, subscribe, tell your mum, tell your dad, tell your best friend about the project itself, get it downloaded, let's have a load of fun, and then let's come back with some ideas on how we can make it even better. So until the next time, this is Slaan saying out, catch you later.